Yo, Mark, how do you like to cook your steak, man?
I like my steaks medium rare.
I'm a juicy guy myself, like a little medium rare too. Right?
Yeah. I got to be careful. I have to cook my steak a little bit more towards the medium, but I'm more of a I'm more on that end.
There we go.
But now, guys, imagine if you could have an amazing steak delivered to your doorstep.
That would be amazing.
I like that.
That's what our homies at Piedmontese Beef does. You order steak online, and it shows up at your doorstep.
No way.
Yeah. Woo! It does just make, I don't know how they do it, but they pull it off. Everybody listening, you guys can do the exact same thing too. Head over to Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. At checkout, enter promo code Power Project for 25% off your order. And if your order's $99 or more, you get free 2-day shipping.
Hair growing on my head. But I'm working on the beard. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to work out, but we'll see.
Are we on, by the way? Dude, you know what you should do? You should do the hipster look. The thing I got going on right now with the, the long beanie and the beard.
Get some tight pants going.
Get some tight pants. Just rock the hipster look for a little bit.
You already have the flannel,
Yes.
so you're good to go.
You see those hipster entrepreneurs on Instagram all the time, right? Just do that for a
sometimes
little
looks
bit.
really awkward when people have like bigger legs. Like Matt Vincent always looks really like Matt Vincent looks like SpongeBob SquarePants. Like his legs are so jacked that it just doesn't really, you're like, I don't know if that's working the same way as it works for those little dudes.
Yeah, no, I could never get those things to be comfortable. It just hogs everything
I'll
up.
never be, what's his name? Aaron Marino? Is that his name?
Yep.
Alpha M.
Yeah, I'll never be an Alpha M. I don't know how much advice I could take from a guy with 2 earrings too. I'm not sure about that. I don't know.
Have you ever pierced your ears or no?
No.
No? Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, nope.
No?
No.
Yeah, it just doesn't. My head's too big.
Yeah. He looks good. He's got the leather jacket going. He's got the. I love watching his stuff. Do you guys watch his stuff quite a bit?
Yeah.
A bit. He has a lot. Like Aaron Marino has a lot of good tips, man.
My God, he's good. He's awesome on Instagram TV. He comes on. What I noticed about him today when I was watching him, I was like, this guy really he enjoys himself a lot. He enjoys his own look because he's really kind of when he's like looking and talking, you kind of think he's like looking at talking to the audience, but he's really just checking himself out.
Yep.
I don't blame him. Good looking guy.
He is.
He
very
deserves it.
handsome.
Yeah. No, yeah. When I was shredding down and everything, you couldn't get me away from the mirror. I was like, this is bad. This is so good.
Still can't get you away from mirror now, probably.
It's a little bit different though.
It's bad that you hired somebody to hold a mirror and walk around.
You told me that was normal.
Yeah.
So and I fell for
This
it.
is gonna happen.
But
Happens to everybody.
by 2021, every bodybuilder will have a hired mirror guy.
That's that actually makes a lot of sense.
It's like, where did you get your start, dude? You remember Mike O'Hearn in 2021? I held the mirror for him the entire year. Get out of here.
That's pretty much what camera guys are. They're pretty much they have a
Yeah, they're mirroring you.
They are mirroring you. Yeah, so you have a mirror going around with you.
I got a ton of
everywhere.
experience then.
Yep.
Yep.
That's actually very true. Today we're going to dive into talking about eating and training and pooping. I guess that's a normal day for us.
That is, yeah.
Except the real twist part in this one, everybody get ready, is what do you do when you're going on vacation? Oh my God.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're going on vacation?
It's a tough one for everybody for some reason.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
Yeah, like kind of vacation, holidays, they're kind of like the same thing. I guess you kind of just, you think it's a time to really like, or maybe it should be a time. That's, I guess, what we'll talk about is, should it be a time for you to relax? I would like to kind of start out by saying that, first of all, it really matters a lot, where you're coming from. So if you're somebody that's very, very overweight, then I think that if you have somehow figured out a way to get kind of locked into your goals, I think you got to sit in that spot. I think you got to stay in there. And I would encourage you to ride it out. I also would encourage against, or discourage rather, like kind of over dieting. So that then it gets to be kind of a sketchy situation real quick. Cause I'm saying, don't over diet, but also we preach a lot of fasting on here as well. But just because we preach fasting, we're not preaching, being malnourished.
Yeah.
We still want you to have the nutrition and the nourishment that you need. And if you're somebody that you feel like you're addicted to food, but you're on track and you're doing really well, then man, I would say whatever way you can stay on the diet, figure out ways to stay on the diet. Anytime that you feel like, this would be kind of a good time to relax, I would just say eat more food, but I would say still be very cautious against cheating or having a trigger that's going to make you go overboard.
There was this post that I saw from the Lauren Spath. It was with two types of people: the people that can be moderation and the people that have to abstain. Yeah, it was at like abstaining and moderation. And you mentioned something recently where you're like, if you give me some carbs, the carbs will, like, if you give me a little bit of rice, will turn into like peanut butter or something else, right? That's
it'll turn into cake and ice cream and everything else. Yeah.
When you try to give yourself a little bit of it, it just kind of snowballs into you eating much more. And there are some people that they know that, okay, I just need to stay away from this, because if I can stay away, I'm 100%. There are some people that are good at giving themselves a little bit, and they're able to handle that little bit without letting it snowball. I think it's really important, especially even before these situations where you go on vacation, international or whatever, to figure out if you're an individual that can have a little bit and be okay, or if you're someone who you just need to figure out all the possible ways to avoid having that food when you're not in like total control of your environment.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people that say they eat like from emotions. And so I think the emotions of being on vacation is like, oh, I get to like relax. I get to, take my foot off the gas pedal. I guess something that needs to be in question for everybody is the food that you're having honestly and truly enhancing the entertainment value and the value of your experiences? Because I have to say, like, you're going to come back from Italy or France or from, going to Florida or wherever the hell it is that you go on vacation. You're going to come back and you're usually going to tell people about the time that you had. And you're usually going to tell people about, man, I saw the Leaning Tower, or I saw this, or I saw that. There's going to be like a bunch of stuff that you saw. You ran into someone famous at the airport or something. And yes, the food is part of it. Like, oh man, the food was so good. But does the food, I guess the question is, the food have to be so good that it's bad? Does it have to be so good that it's a bad influence on your diet and on your overall, like, your behavior patterns that you're trying to develop? Does it have to be that intrusive on your kind of like lifestyle and the habits that you're trying to form?
Especially if like you're a foodie type. I feel like if you're in this situation, you like, who foodies are. They like to try all the different types of restaurants, all the different types of food. I know I've mentioned the Kennerise before, where they'll buy a box of gourmet donuts and just take a bite of each, right? You gotta, like, if that's not working for you and you're ending up, you're not able to control that, you just need to change the focus to having experiences instead. That's going to be a big deal. But especially in these situations, it's important to, if you want to enjoy the food when you're out somewhere, I guess the biggest thing would be to just to find the protein that you can enjoy, because there's a lot of different types of meats. There's a lot of different types of ways people prepare different dishes. And like, for me, I just say, try to stick with the tasty protein, the different ways that it's cooked, rather than really, really high sugary foods when you're out.
A lot of the places I went to eat when I was in Italy, they obviously gave you like a lot of pasta. And so everywhere I went, I was like, where's the steak? Where's the veal? I didn't care if it was chicken Parmesan or like, I didn't care what kind of meat it was. I was just like, where do I get some meat? And there was always a meat option at every single place that we went to. I always ordered that. And then I was like, well, I'll pick a little bit of food off my kids' plates and my wife, because they're probably not going to eat all of it. And if I see something that I'm, would kick myself in the ass if I didn't have it. If this place is like world famous for something or whatever, then I want to be part of that. I want to give it a shot and say, oh yeah, I had that. That was actually really cool. Or it was worth it. Or it wasn't that good. I'd like to be able to form my own opinion on it, I guess. But do I need to have that be my main entree? Do I need to have that be the main thing that I eat? And then another strategy we were just talking about off air for a second is to utilize a little bit of intermittent fasting. I know we smash that thing over your head all day long, intermittent fasting, but missing a meal or two is, and then also too, how different is the breakfast in other places? It's pretty damn similar. I haven't been all over the world, but I've been to a bunch of different places, and it's there's kind of like an egg base, and there's some different meats and different countries have a couple little different things that are fun, but you could certainly implement some fasting very easily.
You know, that is literally the one piece of advice that I've given any client that I've worked with, no matter what type of vacation it was, whether it was a vacation where it was international, because I had a guy that went to Vietnam recently, and he was going to be on his feet a lot. So I just said, hey, for a majority of your day, I want you to fast. You're going to be walking a lot. You're going to be burning calories, etc. But I just want you to fast for most of your day. Enjoy whatever Vietnamese crazy food you want in the evening. He came back. He didn't gain a pound. Same thing with another guy.
That should be people's goal too.
Yeah.
You know, set a weight for yourself. Be like, you know what? I want to come back, and I would really like if I didn't, you know, go over like 3 or 4 pounds of my current body weight. Give yourself a little slack if you want.
Exactly. And the thing is like, if you are on a carnivore diet, it would be like, let's say you go to Italy, right? Okay, you have to choose there if you're going to stick to your carnivore diet, because there are a lot of foods that are very, very, very high in carbohydrates. But even so, if you fast for most of your day, then you enjoy a few cool Italian restaurants or gourmet meals. I'm going to tell you, I feel like it is really, really, really difficult to eat so much food in that really small window of time where it's going to end up messing up your progress.
Especially if you're eating protein.
Especially if you're eating protein.
It makes it that much harder. What would you recommend? Let's forget about the carnivore diet for a second, even though we're on day number 7 of World Carnivore Month. We made it through a whole week.
Yeah.
Let's just say like it's just a client that you have and they're like, look, man, like when I'm on the airplane, like I don't know, I get fidgety. I'm super nervous. I just feel like I need something to eat. What would the recommendations be? Would you have them go more towards like a natural food? Would you yell at them and say, you need to fast? Would you have them, you know, trying to eat like nuts or fruit? Maybe a lot of airports, you can get hard-boiled eggs. Would you encourage stuff like that? Or would you say, hey, you know what? There's really not that much calories. It's not going to really add up to be that much. Why don't you chomp on some like pretzels or something like that?
So I think all those, like, first off, I've never gotten that question before, but all those questions, it kind of makes sense. If a person gets really, really fidgety on a plane, if you could, because airports have beef jerky, airports have eggs, like you mentioned. If you could have something like that, that'd be cool, because then you won't feel
beef
super
jerky's
hungry.
a good one, because you're going to be like kind of like gnawing on it for, I mean, like literally takes a while to eat it, right?
You're gonna be chewing the hell out of that for a while, right? Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense, because like when you the airport or the whatever airplane nuts that they give you and the snacks that they give you, well, especially if that's the first thing you're eating, you're just gonna feel really, really hungry after
and
that.
Gassy. It's amazing. They give you gassy food while you're locked in this chamber of death with everybody else for a couple of hours. And like, man, it starts to really smell like ass on that flight for after a while.
Yes. And I mean, one of the big reasons you're trying to eat isn't just to eat. Like, yeah, you might be trying to feel better because maybe you're a little anxious on the plane, but you're trying to get full. Those peanuts aren't going to make you full. They're going to make you hungrier, and they're salty, and they're, you know, they taste good. So they're just going to make you want to eat more and more food. So it would be better, like you said, like you did the hard-boiled egg thing when you were in the airport a few months ago or something, right?
Yep.
Exactly. That's always there. And again, jerky, just any type of protein you can get your hands on before you step on a plane would be the best option.
And because America has helped make everybody else so fat, we have fast food everywhere. So I don't know what happened the other day, Andrew, but Andrew was out there with me, and we saw a bunch of McDonald's like buns all over the street. Like somebody really had like there was like a real war on carbs, because there was a bunch of empty wrappers of like egg McMuffins and buns everywhere. Like it looked like there was
buns, no meat.
Just buns.
Yeah.
There was like 3 or 4 like
it was like
would be sandwiches.
Yeah.
But it was just all buns, and they were all like flipped upside down.
Was that close to here?
Yeah, it was a crime scene.
That had to have been someone from the gym.
Oh, I hope not.
That's been like your brother or something.
Yeah, I know. I hope none of our people are throwing shit out their window or whatever they would. I don't know. Maybe it was a fight in the streets.
I can picture your brother in like the Mine Bullet car throwing buns out his window as he drives to the gym.
Yeah, so mad, like F these carbs, and just chucking them out the window.
Oh my God.
Yeah, imagine getting hit in the back of the head with an egg McMuffin.
Yeah, but you know, I think in terms of, I guess, types of travel, when people also travel, like some people, another issue is like when they go and visit their families. Like I was going to ask you this. When you went to Italy, did you have in the back of your head an idea of places you wanted to go or the type of food you wanted to eat? Because I know, did you think about that? Was there any prep, or did you just go and you're like, okay, you figured it out as you went? Because I feel like you got to prep.
Yeah, well, 100%. So normally for a trip like that, you would normally book it like a few months in advance.
Yeah.
So with knowing that, that gives you a great advantage to be like, you know what? It would be great to not really like necessarily like diet hard or anything crazy, but you know what? It might be a good idea to lose like 4 or 5 pounds for that trip. A, because I'm going to be walking a ton, and B, it would just be great that I have a little extra. I can have a little extra cushion with my diet if I want to overeat a little bit, if I want to enjoy and indulge some foods. So what? I come back the same weight that I am right now, but I don't come back any heavier. Mm-hmm. And so, prepping in advance. The other thing I was going to say about the airplane, you know, you're trying to make sure, and just about travel in general, but the airplane especially, you're trying to make sure that your experience is really enjoyable. So how many of you have gone somewhere and just kind of felt like crap the whole time? You had a weird flight. Maybe you had a like a red eye flight, and you're like, oh, I'm going to sleep on the plane. That never works, right? It's not always easy for everybody to sleep on the plane. For some reason, your sleep, you know, doesn't work out, or you're having trouble sleeping in the hotel and so on. But part of your job when you're traveling like that and when you're on vacation is to feel good. And eating a bunch of junk food, while it might satisfy you and get you excited for a little bit, it's not really going to give you a net of feeling very good. So if you eat a bunch of crap on the plane, you're going to really be in a world of hurt when you land. And this is where, you know, traveling with a little bit of food makes some sense. Prep something. Try to be prepared. But like pretty much every airport I've been to, there's always like stuff around to go to. Now the airport is also very expensive though. Yeah. So if you want to save a lot of dough, then you would cook something at home or order stuff off of Amazon, or go to like a Costco and get your beef jerky. Because if you buy at the airport, it's like they ring it up, it's like $9 or something. And you're like, I just got the one. I just trying to get that one thing. Are you sure that's the right price?
It's like 4 sticks of beef jerky and you're $10.
Yeah, and you're like, come on, bro. So that would be, you know, something to think about. And then there's, in terms of like protein, you know, don't forget about cheese. Cheese is everywhere. Yeah. Like when I was in Italy, like they always had like a cheese board or something like that. And so there's always, and that kind of protein is just great. I mean, I don't think anybody would debate some people are a little weird about dairy, and some people don't digest dairy very well. Mm-hmm. But I think in general, the general consensus is that dairy is very healthy, is a great form of calcium, a good form of sodium, a great source of protein. And of course there's some fat in there, but that's a great way to get some protein in.
And I think the big thing here is like when we're talking about all of this, right? This is like vacation. You're going and you're having fun and you're enjoying yourself. But everything that's mentioning here shouldn't be taking away from enjoyment. Like even if you do, you know, you go to a restaurant and the meal has quite a bit of carbs, but it has quite a bit of protein too.
Just flip the table over. What in the fuck is this?
But like the thing is like, if you're not eating all day long, and this is why like the biggest thing that I think goes along with this is just fasting for most of the day. If you're not eating all day long and you have that 1 or 2 meals, those 1 or 2 meals shouldn't be so ridiculous that they mess up all the progress that you've been making on your diet when you're at home, even if it's for 2 or 3 days. If you're not eating all day long, which is the problem when going on vacations, because you always have food and alcohol all day. If it's only within a few hours, it's hard to do that much damage in a few hours. Even if you go off a little bit, you have a little bit of fun. It's hard to do that. So if you at least do that and utilize protein like we were mentioning here, so try to have a lot of protein with those meals so that you do get full faster. That'll make such a big difference so that when you come home, everything's the way it should be and you're able to go right back into what you're trying to do with your diet.
Do not fall into the trap if you have a hotel room that has like snacks. Like don't mess with that thing. It's going to be crazy expensive, and you're going to eat everything there, and it's usually like not that good. Every once in a while they'll have some good stuff, but it's usually not. It's like they have that bag of chips sitting there, and you just keep eyeballing it, and it just keeps staring back at you. I should even just from now on just tell them like, you know, hey, don't have any of that bullshit in my room. I don't want to see that stuff.
Yeah. You said that when you were in Italy, did you purposefully try to walk more? Because I feel like whenever anyone that's worked with me has mentioned vacation, they always end up walking a ton, which is great. Mm-hmm. But did you plan for like to actually walk more? I feel that's important.
Yeah, I did. I planned on walking more, and I, you know, we would come back from somewhere and I would be like, man, I'm pretty beat. I'm pretty tired. But then I would say, you know what? It's actually a great time just to go out for a walk and check out some new stuff. And then I would come back and I would tell the family. I'd say, hey, you know what? If we go down this street, like it's got this, and this, and I'd lay down, take a nap, and then we'd all go out again, and like we had a new spot to go to. So it was super fun, and it felt like, it felt adventurous. And I'm a really horrible, like, I don't know. I wander. Like I don't know if I see like a building that it just has cool structure, like I'm not an architect or anything, but I love looking at like design and stuff. I'll just be like mesmerized by it. I'll just fucking stare at it. And my wife is like, she's 4 blocks ahead of me or something. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I keep staring at that church over there. It looks amazing, or this thing or that thing. And I'm like trying to look at stuff and take it in. And I'm like taking a mental picture. And then I'm like grabbing a picture on my phone.
Yeah.
So I really like to kind of go out, and I like to walk a lot, but I like to also kind of check out a lot of different stuff. Yeah, sightsee, I guess.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of people, especially, okay, so if the reason I did like 2 cruises this past 2 years was because cruises are super fun, but they're not crazy expensive, right? And I know a lot of people that like to go on cruises, but the thing that happens whenever people tell me is like, I gained like 7 pounds on that cruise. I gained like 10 pounds on that cruise. And I get it. Because on a cruise, you pay for everything in advance, so you can order all the food to your room, and it's sometimes free. There's food all the time on the boat, right? But if you
probably also a gym.
There is a gym. There is a gym. So the thing is like I didn't work out every day when I was on the cruise, but we did walk around a lot. We did do a lot of activities, and we both made sure to like fast for most of the day. So we didn't eat for most of the day, and when we did, there were always options that had a lot of protein. We were able to be on our feet for a little bit. There was a gym. So I feel like we enjoyed everything about that cruise, but we didn't come back gaining any type of weight because of exactly what we're talking about here. And that's a situation where you're trapped. You're trapped on a boat, and food is everywhere. You can't go anywhere else, right? So that's the type of situation where you should still be able to go, enjoy everything that you're doing, be normal, okay? So there's nothing abnormal about it. Come back and you're still A-okay.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to kind of like just let your defenses down. And I think that's basically what we're talking about is like, once you let your defenses down, you don't want to like let the floodgates open up and then just start an onslaught of, unhealthy eating. And also like, I think it's actually kind of fun and actually kind of cool to like be a leader. So if you end up traveling somewhere and you end up going to like a conference, or you go somewhere where there's going to be other people that maybe you travel somewhere with family members or friends or something. It's kind of cool to say, hey, everybody, let's get together at 8:00 tomorrow and let's work out. When I travel with my family, everyone's always like, okay, when are we working out? I think every year, the last few years, we've worked out on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah,
we all get together and we all work out. A lot of times, some of the kids will join us. Like they'll run with us or whatever we're doing. I think like 2 years ago we did like a CrossFit workout. This year we did like a run walk. Where we ended up going way further than I anticipated. We went like 6 miles or something. It was fun, and we were dead. Like
a run walk. You guys went 6 miles?
Yeah, we went 6 miles in Bodega Bay with all the hills and everything too.
Wow.
And it's just, why not be that person? Why not be the one that kind of encourages? And when I went to a conference in San Diego this year, and I told everybody that I ran into, I was like, I'm working out at 6 a.m. and I'm working out on those stairs over there. And they're like, really? And I even put a post on Instagram. I'm like, hey, like, because that way now I'm stuck. Now I have to be there. Like I told people I'm going to be there. Now, fuck, I got to go run those stairs. And I think I was there for 3 days, and we ran the stairs every day, and it was horrible. By day 3, I was super sore.
Yeah.
It was a good amount of steps, and I have never done anything like that since, I guess, maybe training for football. I might have done some of that, but yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal, but why not be that person that gets everybody kind of going, right?
And that's another thing too. When we're talking about like exercise in these situations, in that San Diego trip, I don't know, it doesn't seem like you had access to a gym, but you still had access to do something.
Yeah.
So you could still do the stairs and do some stair runs or whatever. So if you do have a goal, and let's say you're going to be on a prolonged vacation that you don't have a gym at, you got stairs. You could probably get out. You can probably do a little bit of a run walk, or you can just walk for a while when you're out. You don't have to have a gym if you have these goals. And then another thing, if you really wanted to go the extra mile and you wanted to get a little bit of resistance in, you could get a resistance band. They're super cheap. Push-ups are free. You could do a whole type of little bit of a lifting circuit with that type of work.
Imagine if you're just like, I'm going to drop down and do 20 push-ups like 5 times a day. Like that's
Yeah.
that's 100 push-ups. That's a good workout.
Exactly. And you could add a band to that, or you could just do the push-ups. There's a lot of stuff you could do. You could do burpees if you don't like yourself, you can do burpees, right? Like you can do a lot. You just have to plan ahead and make sure that you can just like make sure it gets done.
I think it's reasonable. I think it's reasonable to say, like, let me do a little bit of like an eye for an eye type of thing with my training and my food. You know, if I'm going to eat that, then I better do this. You know, if I'm going to, I know I'm going to this famous restaurant tomorrow. I know they have like an 8-course meal or something crazy, and it's just going to be, you know, I'm going to eat 4,000 calories in one meal, or 5,000, you know, something crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Then just kind of say to yourself, how do I, you know, track my way back out of that? One way would be to start fasting. So as soon as the thing I love about fasting, something I think that is amazing, is that the second that you stop eating, you start doing something positive for yourself. So when you're home at night and you're thinking about eating again, you got to think like, I already started my next day.
Yeah.
Like I'm already a savage. I'm already like into it. I'm already like, fuck, dude, you're an hour and a half in already to your fast. Why are you going to jack it up? Like you don't need the protein bar. You don't need the protein shake. You don't actually need any of it. You just want it. Quit being a fucking baby.
Yeah.
And you already, like, when do you get the opportunity to do that? Like you literally got an opportunity just to get ahead. And it's a great thing to kind of lean into, I think.
Hey man, that's something that happened to me a lot in the past, and it can still creep up on me if I haven't planned. And this is what I'm getting to here. When you're not doing shit, food is the thing that you think of.
Oh yeah,
and it's really, really easy when you're not doing anything to be like
food and a bunch of other bullshit, and you get a lot of anxiety. You think about what other people are doing and all kinds of like things that aren't positive.
Exactly. Like there would be times where I wasn't doing anything. I'm like, maybe I could get something to eat. I'm like, see what's going on here. I'm not doing anything, so now I think about food and I want to get food. And
hungry or bored.
Hungry or bored. And so many people have sent me like messages like, you know, I find it hard to fast on the weekends because I'm not doing as much on the weekends. So can I just like not fast on the weekends and fast during the week? Like, how about we try and figure out some stuff to do during the weekends? And it's the same thing when you're traveling. It's a good idea to plan some of your things in your vacation ahead, so you don't have all this lull time, because especially when you're vacation, when you're not doing anything, that's going to be the time when you really end up turning in, hey, let's just go eat this thing, or let's go do this and eat, right? If you have stuff that's going to keep you busy, maintaining a fast is so much easier. And that's even a thing that will still happen to me to this day. Like if I'm not doing something, or if I'm not keeping myself occupied in some fashion, my mind will somehow find its way to turn towards food.
Oh yeah.
So it's something to keep in mind.
I didn't have anywhere to be this morning, so I ate breakfast. Or at least I didn't think I had anywhere to be. Apparently I did. I was supposed to be here. And so if I would have been here like I was supposed to be for the podcast, I would have been fasting. But instead, I was being fat and I was eating breakfast and bringing my kids to school.
Looked like a good ass breakfast though.
It was good.
What did you have? I didn't see.
I had some eggs and some sausage, and kind of as per usual.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you had a big old bucket of sausage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I did see it.
See, now even right now, I want to make an omelet now. I really want to make a big
I'm telling you, you got to
try.
You got to try kind of an egg yolk omelet. It doesn't have to be all yolks.
I did that.
But just kick out.
Though.
Yeah, it's really good though, right?
It was mostly yolks. I think I had 8 yolks and 3 whites.
Yeah.
So it was a majority yolks, but it was really good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was really good.
It's amazing. The one that I made today, I made like 12 eggs or something, and you know, I can eat some eggs, but like I don't know. I know some guys that just hammer like 8 eggs like it's nothing, but I don't normally eat that many eggs like that. I'll eat like 5 or 6 or something like that maybe at a time. But when I was making this one, I took out maybe about 3. I took maybe about 3 whites out, and my kids ate it and I ate it. It was fucking awesome.
Oh, it's good.
That's dope. I was just going to say, for anybody that's currently watching the live stream on Instagram, hit us with any questions you might have in regards to staying on your diet, staying on your training regimen while traveling, trying something different so they can hear everything. They just can't really see all the angles just yet. But any hoot. Back to the program. Also,
what I wanted to say is that, you know, I just want to reiterate as much as I possibly can, and we can't say it all the time, but I want to say that we're promoting intermittent fasting, and we're promoting sound nutrition and sound eating. You know, hopefully for you found a plan that works well for you. And I want to make sure that people aren't getting weird eating disorders. Like, don't be afraid to eat. Like, when I woke up this morning, I was like, I wasn't even hungry necessarily. I was like, I just made a decision. I was like, I kind of feel like eating breakfast. And I was like, I think I bought sausage like a couple days ago. I'm like, I'm gonna have a breakfast. And it wasn't like, oh, well, I can't have breakfast because it's gonna like impede my progress because I need to fast. You know, we're encouraging you to do intermittent fasting where you're still going to eat and you're still going to have a good amount of nutrition. But we're not encouraging anything that would be like, it's not intermittent starvation, I guess is my point. It's it's just a break from, you know, eating 5-6 times a day, or even aside from the bodybuilding, eating 5-6 times a day, which I think is totally fine and actually a wonderful habit, because bodybuilders are constantly feeding themselves something healthy throughout the entire day. I think that as Americans, we have developed, you know, eating 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day, but it's because of a lot of snacks. It's like it's like a lot of intermittent eating, which is interrupting our fasting. Which the fasting again, fasting does so many different things, but it's a basic healing of the human body from inside out. You're creating new cells. You're burning body fat. You're burning off sugar. It's a literal fight against insulin resistance, which is powerful for everyone. They believe in 2030, or no, I'm sorry, in 2050, the rate that we're going at, that the 50% of Americans will have Alzheimer's or dementia. Like, that's crazy. You know, like my parents are in their 70s. Like, I don't want them to, you know, think about that. Getting your memory, like you get your memories wiped out. I don't know what else you have. I think that's all we got as human beings. So, you know, you could be potentially, escaping stuff like that just through utilizing some intermittent fasting. And fasting when you're on vacation too can look a lot different than fasting when you're home. Like, it doesn't have to be, you know, I know we talk about 18 hours and we talk about 20 hours and stuff, but it could be 6 hours. I mean, it's intermittently you're not eating, you're making a decision. So let's just say you ate breakfast at 8 and now it's 10:30 and you're thinking about having like a Coke or a Pepsi or something like that. Just don't have it. Just wait until it's time to eat, or that little snack that you're thinking about. Just don't have the snack. Aside from carnivore, aside from all these diet plans and everything, just simply don't eat it. And when you start to abstain from that, you can be really successful just by simply incorporating some intermittent fasting. And you can forget about carbs and fat and protein. And I mean, I would still urge you and encourage you to go towards protein. But man, you can forget a lot of the rules and a lot of the laws that everyone wants you to follow, and you can kind of follow your own thing if you can figure out some intermittent fasting.
I think that's another good thing to think about when going on vacation or going out. Like, try to have, whenever you eat, just try to have it be meals. Like, try not to
100%. Yep.
When I do think about in the past, when I would go on vacation, I would have a lot of snacks on deck back in the day. I really would. That's something I didn't think about. When a lot of people go on vacation, you usually try to keep food on you, so you got something to pull out and whip out when you're feeling a little hungry. I got that Nutri-Grain bar right there on deck.
Dude, I would pack so much food. It was like I was going off to war just to leave my house every day. It's like, where, like, just pause for a second. Where in the fuck are you going? Are you going on some sort of crazy trek out in Siberia or something like that?
Yeah, man.
Like, you're leaving and you're going 10 minutes down the road to a Starbucks. Just relax. Everything's going to be okay.
Got my little baggie of oranges.
You never know.
Yeah.
We had a question come in from Twitch. Our first question from
What?
Twitch. Yeah.
Wow.
So I can't pronounce, or I don't know if he has a weird screen name, but he just came back from vacation.
Ooh.
So he did put on some weight, and he wants to, you know, obviously take some of that off. But he heard that having cheese is not a good idea, period, when trying to lose weight. Is he accurate, misinformed? What do you think?
Anything that you have a good opportunity to overeat is probably going to hinder your ability to lose weight. So if you really love cheese, it might be good to really try to moderate it in some way, or just try to kick it out. But I think cheese is relatively healthy. It's just pretty dense in terms of calories, and you're going to probably eat a little bit more of it, or eat a lot more energy than you might have anticipated.
Then you kind of hit it on the money there, because when you think about like when people eat cheese, we've said this a lot, that you don't want to mix a lot of carbs and a lot of fat together, right? But what is a beautiful mix? A lot of cheese and a lot of carbs. You know what I mean? So I guess the reason he probably heard that is because whoever said that was saying that in the context of also eating quite a bit of carbohydrates. You're going to probably prawn all that cheese, and it's not a good mix.
Yeah.
But
if you're on like the vertical diet, then cheese wouldn't be so great. Some cheese would be okay, a little bit of cheese here and there,
sprinkled
cottage cheese and things like that, and lower fat options in terms of cheese. But cheese can be a slippery slope. But if you're also on a no carb diet, then cheese is pretty fair game. Again, you just want to make sure that you're not, just eating it all day long.
Yeah. And then from Instagram, GLBR1 ask if you can flip your intermittent fast, meaning eat breakfast and then not eat the rest of the day.
What are you, a mutant? I'm joking, bro.
That's against the rules, right? You can't do that.
You can do that.
Yeah, you can certainly do that. Sometimes I'll mention something about like a schedule, and I'll say how fasting works really great with my schedule. I'll say like, I kind of work from 9 until 4 or something like that, or 8 until 4 or something like that. And other people are like, well, I work nights. And I'm like, I'm trying to give you like a reference point that I have this period of time where I go to work as well, and that I'm like eating here and I'm eating there, and that's all I'm trying to do. But yeah, you can certainly use your intermittent fasting in whatever way would be the most convenient for you. Our snake diet, remind me of the name?
Cole Robinson.
Jinx, buy me a Coke.
Can it be sparkling water?
That was amazing. Jinx, buy me a sparkling water. Pellegrino.
Where did that come from anyway?
I don't know.
Kids are weird.
It is really weird. It's kind of funny. I guess like you just, as a kid, you always just want something extra. Like because you called it or whatever, right?
Pretty much.
Anyway, Cole Robinson encouraged fasting earlier in the day, and it can be really effective. He had me doing it a little bit, but it was just too hard for me with my family eating and stuff like that. I was just like, I can't figure this out. So it was too difficult. The one time I tried a diet that was too difficult, I think I've tried everything and been able to follow them pretty decently. But man, that was a real kick in the nuts. But if it works with your schedule, then that's great.
I'm sorry. You said he wanted you to fast during the day or fast during, what did he want you to do?
Yeah. So Cole would basically, like, if he feels like in a perfect world that you would work out at like, I don't know, around 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. You would get some good sleep and you'd work out in the morning. And he doesn't really love to work out completely fasted. So he'll say, eat a couple hard-boiled eggs and have a couple oranges and go to the gym and go crazy. He really is a big proponent of heavy training as well. And then from there, he would recommend another small meal, and then he'd recommend just fast
through the day.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So he was he's a proponent of some pretty radical, he's got some pretty radical thoughts. Like he might even say like, hey man, I want you to eat like 500 calories for the next 5 days, something crazy like that. What you're thinking, oh, that's not too bad to do it for 5 days, but it makes you hungrier than fasting itself because you ate something.
Yeah.
And now you kind of you've exposed yourself to food. That's another thing to think about when you're thinking about traveling and being on vacation, is that the second that you eat, that's kind of going to encourage more eating. So just try to figure out a window. Try to figure out a window of time. My wife and I fasted yesterday for I think like 20 hours or so. And as we were doing it, she was like, it is so weird. We're coming down to the end of the fast. And she's like, I really don't care whether we eat or not. She's like, I can go to bed.
Let me ask you this. Did she feel that way? Because I know in the episode with her, she said she's been doing it for a while. And when she started fasting, was it as easy? Like, did she feel that way? Or was it like, was she getting kind of...
It's gotten a lot easier, because then she also said, she goes, as soon as I started to eat, she's like, I was full. She's like, I got full pretty quick,
Yeah.
And she was like, I just kind of knew I needed the nutrition. So I kind of kept eating. But, that's the power of fasting. Really what we're trying to do, for like a bigger guy or something like that, like a bigger guy might have to fast for a longer period of time to end up with the same kind of results as she got from yesterday, and to feel full that quickly. But the basics of it is that if you don't eat for a day, it's going to be really, really hard for you to smash all the calories And there's a bunch of guys who are like, I could do it, bro. And like, we know what you're thinking, but if it's mainly protein, especially that's the first thing you're introduced to, kind of a protein and fat source, you're going to run out of steam. You're going to eat like 2 pounds of meat, which is probably not anywhere near your daily, what you need on a daily basis. It's probably way lower than that. So,
yeah, man. No, the old Nsima, it was a badge of honor for me with the amount of food I could eat. Like whenever we'd have like a Thanksgiving, people would be seeing my plates. I'd be like, yeah, I can eat that. I could put it away. And I could. And I was like, nah, I can handle way more. I was a garbage disposal. Now I can still eat a lot, but it's not like it used to be. And it's really crazy. It's awesome that you can feel full off of eating a good amount of food.
Yeah.
Like actually a normal human amount of food will make me full.
Right.
And that's wonderful.
And I've been with you before. We went to like one of those, was it
Brazilian steakhouses?
Yeah, Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah.
And you were smashing a good amount of meat that day. But still, I think, how many days can you actually do that? You know, like, and that was just kind of one instance. We were out and we were just enjoying food, and it just kind of became a thing a little bit too, right?
Hey, it's steak, man. Like if it's meat, I need to rephrase this statement right now. If it is Brazilian steak at a Brazilian steakhouse, I can pound it down.
Pound.
The first steak meal is going to be just wrong. It's going to be a bite. But yeah.
No FAP January. Still hanging in there.
Yeah. High five.
Boom.
There we go.
Points on the scoreboard. I mean, I it's not easy, but I'm hanging in there.
Yeah. Real quick, shout out to Daniel Smith, who says in February will be a year full carnivore.
Oh my God.
Yeah, slow clap.
Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, and then a couple different questions about like different types of meat. But Cam asks if there's anything wrong with turkey sausages or turkey hot dogs.
Just whatever whatever meats you like, man. I think people ask a lot about like hot dogs and processed meats and deli meats and stuff like that. Just try to use some common sense. I think better is better. Like, are you going to get more nutrition from beef jerky, or you get more nutrition from a fresh thing of meat? Like, I'm sure you could have a study that finds there's really not that big of a difference, but can we just apply some general logic to it and say, like, it probably makes sense to fresher food? So, always try to get better stuff. Is there a reason to eat like turkey hot dogs? Probably not a ton of reasons for it, but if you want one here and there because it tastes good and it helps you to stay on your diet, then go for it. I eat Piedmontese hot dogs here and there. They have steak. They're just like steak trimmings from what they've told us. And those are freaking delicious, and they are high in protein. I think 21 grams of protein and like 10 grams of fat.
Dang.
I think hot dogs are usually flipped the other way.
Yeah.
Like 20 grams of fat. And
it's barely,
there's a lot of research about processed meats and things like that, and there's some evidence that shows how awful they are for us, and there's some evidence that shows that they don't do anything harmful to us at all. So it's kind of like the artificial sweetener debate. It's kind of just in limbo, like where people are like, you can't have that, you're going to get cancer. If you have one Monster Energy drink, you're going to die. Other people are saying, hey, look, there's really not much evidence of that.
So then I guess that can lead into the next question from Ryan Fur. Yeah, Ryan Fur. He's just basically asking, are there any meats that you would want to avoid then? Like maybe pork if you're not.
Well,
I guess it's more like a person to person thing. Like if I have pork, it hurts my stomach a little bit.
Yeah,
there's really nothing, right?
There's no meats that I personally avoid. There are some people that I've spoken to where they're like, well, yeah, whenever I eat red meat, I get queasy. So if you're in a situation where you're eating certain meats and they make you feel bad, okay, avoid them. But there's no meat that I've ever.
I can't think of. Yeah.
I'm really trying to think of a meat you should avoid. Honestly, like a meat that I think is just kind of, okay, people are going to get on me for this one. I think chicken breast is just kind of useless. Even if you're on a diet, like, because, I mean, if you're on a really low fat diet, yeah, but chicken breast just seems so.
I don't know, man. I've been eating chicken breast out of a can.
Oh yeah, those Wild Planet.
Yeah, it's really good.
The Wild Planet ones.
This was actually just a Costco brand. Yeah. Because I thought I had one meal left in my little fridge here, and when I went to go get it, I was like, oh no, it's I ate it. Shoot. Then I ended up just cracking 2 cans open and then just pouring salt all over it, and I was super happy. It was delicious.
Chicken doesn't a chicken breast just doesn't have as many nutrients as like a steak or something. That's
Right.
the only real difference. But I don't think it matters too much, and I think you can have at it with any meat that you want.
Seriously, yeah.
I mean, except for human. Don't eat humans.
Don't eat humans, and
How much
if you
protein,
eat sardines, don't eat a crazy amount of them because there's something in them that you don't want to get too much of.
Mercury?
So,
there's like
there's
lead
something
and
else.
mercury.
Yeah,
and
you
all that stuff in certain kinds of fish and stuff. So
Yeah.
you might need to be a little cautious. But yeah, you
That's
can have at it with meat. meat. Play with your meat.
Play with meat. Eat all the meat in the world.
You guys want some more questions, or you want to move on back to traveling and staying on your diet?
We'll take another question or two.
We got just a handful of questions from Instagram, actually. Let me see if I can pull up their names. What do we got? Matt something. He was just asking about switching to carnivore while in the middle of meat prep. And my short answer was like, well, don't mess with anything that's working, because he said that he's actually making gains as is right now.
Oh yeah. Never mess with anything if you are honestly and truly making progress. And also, don't listen to anything that we say on this podcast. If you're making progress, don't go jumping and switching. Like, if you feel like you're doing really good now, you could take the information that we have and use it at some other time. We put out an arm training podcast. We did one on back and stuff like that. And if you're making good progress and good gains on your arms and your back now with the program that you have, I can't even think of one reason why you would switch. I'm impressed that you're influenced by us, but yeah, man, keep doing what you're doing and wait until the contest is over, crush the meat, and then do the carnivore diet.
What, bam.
Yeah, man. That off season's the time to experiment, not now.
And then Nsima, just real quick for her name's Sophia on Instagram. She's actually just I don't know what the actual full-on question is, but she's just exercising, not really focusing on her diet, but she's still able to lose weight. So my thought was like, well, you're just expending more energy, therefore burning more calories.
Yeah, maybe like if that was a question or a statement, maybe just like exercising isn't something common to her, and she's just doing way more activity than she has in the past.
I think that's what is actually happening right now.
Yeah.
That's fine. So then Ashton on YouTube is he wants your guys' opinion on longer fasts, because we talk about intermittent fasting a lot, but when we had Cole on, that opened up a lot of people's eyes to doing like a 72-hour fast or longer. He's talking about the autophagy that you gain from fasting from a longer period, but he doesn't hear us talk about it much.
Yeah. So, Mark, I think you have more experience actually doing longer fasts. I mean, there are a lot of people that are advocates of doing them like really long ones, 48, 72, 5-day fasts once a quarter for health benefits.
I liked it when I did it, and it was a fun challenge. It's something I think everyone should try. I first of all think everyone should try like try first fasting, a short period of time, before you go diving into it. But I think a 24-hour fast is very reasonable for people to try. I know that the Spats, they were saying that they only ate like 5 or 6 times a week. 5 or 6 times a week. So they might eat like Monday through Friday, and they didn't eat at all on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And they had one meal. I mean, man, that sounds like a really tough regimen to do, but it looks like it worked amazing for them. I would encourage you to try some fasting. I would encourage to try, a 24-hour, 36. I think a great way to get a long fast going is to just stop eating pretty early in the day. If you could stop eating around lunchtime, or you could stop eating around, early, you can like 4 or 5 p.m. or something like that. Stop eating then, and then carry out the fast and see if you can make it again until 2. And then by the time you look at the clock, you might be like, I could make it. I can do the rest. I can do 24 hours. In terms of like all the health benefits, and I would suggest you go back to some of our previous podcasts that we've done with some other experts when they talked about those kind of prolonged fasts and what they can do for you, because they had a lot of great information on it. I always forget the guy's name, the YouTube guy that we had on that talked a lot about longer fasts.
It wasn't Cole Robinson. It was
Cole did.
not Elliot.
The guy with the accent.
You're not talking about Ken Berry?
No. He's like European or something.
Seamland.
There you go. Yeah, Seamland.
Seamland.
Check out that podcast, and that actually, check out that guy's YouTube channel. He's got a lot of great information on intermittent fasting.
He has so much information.
Yeah.
He goes deep. Check his channel out. And if you want to learn about longer fasts, he has a lot of good info. Peter T has been pumping up a lot of info about long-term fasts because he's really deep into that too. So
I do think that people, it's a little overblown. I think that it can be really beneficial. The one thing you'll have to keep in mind that if you do let's say you did a 48-hour fast, and then like 2, 3, 4 days later, you find yourself, nose deep in a pizza, the fast didn't really work very well. Yeah. And those are some things that happened to me when I first tried longer fasts like that. I was like, oh man, this is great. And then a few days later, I was eating like kind of junk, and I was like, I think this has to do with the fast. Mm-hmm. I think that it caught up to me, like I can't escape it. Like it's your body is going to tell you, yo, dude, like you better make up for that shit. I know what you tried to do to me. You better eat something. So just make sure that it doesn't result in that. Some of the best advice I've heard in terms of any type of fasting, the best thing to do with fasting is just to pretend it never happened. And I think that's really powerful. Like when you go back to eating, when it's time to eat, you're going to eat like basically 25%. Mm-hmm. You're going to consume about 25% of the energy that you otherwise could have consumed. But you shouldn't be on a quest to really smash so much food that you completely eliminated the fasting that you did.
One thing I want to bring out from this, what you just said real quick, is because I've heard a lot of people say, yeah, I've done IF and it's not for me. Every time I come off of a fast, I eat too much food, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is like, you've done that before. Mm-hmm. I've done that before. Andrew, I think you've done that before, right? Or no? Or you were just better than us?
I think, no. Early on, I think like the first time where I actually did like a longer fast, I just ate too fast.
Yeah.
And then I got like it just hurt my stomach.
Yeah, there were times in the beginning where not only did I eat too fast, but like I binged. I just went a little bit crazy on the food I had because I'm like, I got to eat everything right now.
So much fun.
But it is so much fun. But the thing is like you get better at that, and fasting does also get easier. And I mean, I don't want to make this blanket statement, but I think literally like anyone could do it. It's not like something that, I know people are going to hate this, but it's not something that just works for some people and doesn't work for others. It could work for anybody. Just got to give it time, just like anything else.
It really can work for anyone. I mean, think about people in your family right now. Think about your aunt, think about your uncle, think about your mom, your daughter, your sister, whoever. It can literally work for, like, anyone has the ability to just simply not eat, to choose to not eat. And again, we're encouraging like intermittent fasting, and we're encouraging that you do get some nutrition and you do eat at some point.
Yeah.
But this, you want to start out really simple. I mention this all the time, but stop eating about 2 hours before you go to bed. And then once you wake up, maybe skip breakfast. And before you know it, it's like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and you probably are already on your way to a like 14 or 16 hour fast just from utilizing that little bit of strategy. So it's not very difficult. It can be hard to have, 10 or so waking hours without food. And you don't have your 10-hour day occupied with a whole lot if you're not doing much. But like most of the episode was about, being on vacation and traveling. If you're traveling, it definitely occupies a lot of time. There's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
Journal, write stuff down while you're on the plane, listen to a podcast, get informed, listen to an audio book. Like just try to do like whatever you got to do to try to not eat. Really, in that situation it can be difficult because you're kind of like almost pre-trained to it. You're like, every time, are you really that hungry on the plane, or has it been a habit that every time you've ever sat down on a plane you always munched on something, so now you're associating the plane with food. And so now you're prepared to like do the same thing that you've always done.
Well, when somebody says road trip or trip, it's like, all right, what snacks are like? It's a thing. Like you go to the store to actually get road trip snacks. I mean, I know when I was a kid, like because like we have family in SoCal and Mexico. Like we're like, all right, we're gonna go see so and so. It's like, oh, I can't wait to see what snacks we get.
Yeah, man.
Because it's just all part of the show.
It is.
But I guess grabbing some snacks like a perfect keto bar wouldn't be that bad of an idea, right?
Yeah, instead of Fritos. What kind of chips do you guys like? We've talked a lot about cereal in the past. What about chips? I mean, I think everybody likes Doritos. I mean, come on. Doritos are legit, right?
So
I like the regular kind of nacho cheese Doritos quite a bit, but I actually like Fritos a lot.
Fritos,
and they
are
have
good.
like 2 ingredients. I think it's like
That's right. Yeah, they do.
it's like
Let me look it up.
corn and salt or something. It's like
yeah, it was pretty bland, but they were nice and salty.
Yeah.
The old Nsima was a big fan of hot Cheetos, like high school man. Hot Cheetos, oh God, I loved them. Normal Cheetos were nasty, but hot Cheetos were good.
yeah. How about like all that shit you get on your fingers from stuff like that?
That's the best. So you can lick the fingers. It's great.
I don't. I don't like that.
It wasn't a fan. You wait because of the finger licking or because of
No, I don't like stuff on my hand. Like anytime I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking something, like whether it be steak, whatever it is, I will wash my hand like 1,000 times because like I don't like having anything on my fingers, and therefore
You can't have like a rag next to you and just kind of wipe it off on there.
I can do that, but at some point, like I will touch and I'll still feel the filminess of whatever it is, and I can't do it. So if I'm even popcorn, I can't put my hand in and get the popcorn.
This is an entire another
Wait.
podcast
I cannot do it.
wow.
I love popcorn
because it has butter.
because of whether it be butter or even if I will have popcorn with nothing but salt or sometimes just nothing because that tastes kind of good. I can't touch it because there's still a
Like movie theater popcorn. It's like
it's
oily.
like greasy oil filling.
How do you
so
eat chips?
I just get a cup or chips. Chips. Fritos works when you can put it in a cup. Hot fries works really good. Hot fries are really
so
good.
what you put it in a cup? You go
So
like this.
but I don't want to repeat that motion, and I had the camera on me too, so. But yes, I get a cup, and it's like I drink the popcorn, sometimes dry cereal, chips, anything like any kind of finger food. I just can't. I don't know.
Wow. So finger food isn't finger food for you though. It's not finger.
No,
food.
I have to find another way.
Like chicken nuggets. What do you do with those?
I guess that's a little bit different because like there's almost no getting around that because I'm going in on like everything's done, and plus it's just I don't know. I'm usually probably like I would have dipped it in something anyways, and so that's an immediate hand wash right after the meal's done.
Tortilla chips, dipping them in salsa.
Yep, that's fine.
Huh?
Because it's like dry kind of.
Man, we have this food in our culture, in Nigerian culture. It's like African culture called fufu. I've mentioned it here before. I used to eat it a lot as a kid.
You have to use your hand?
Yeah, it's like this pounded yam and soup, and you have to take the yam out. You have to roll it in your fingers to turn it into a ball, dip it in the soup, put it in your mouth. That's how you eat it.
So good.
Like, it's
I know
great.
you talked about it a bunch.
That sounds good, but now there's a hurdle.
You'd be that American with the spoon.
Yeah, I
Going
would.
back and forth. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, and then like if any of my like nephews or even if Jasmine wants to play like Nintendo Switch or something, like can you please wash your hands because I can't have a greasy control.
Well, you know what?
But I've been like that since I was a kid. Like I would hate grabbing like a controller or whatever, and it would like
you're just a clean guy, man. I ain't gonna hate it. I ain't gonna bag on it.
I'm trying to be cleaned up over there.
yeah. I guess
I
so.
do hate I hate having my hands smell like meat or smell like food, because you're cooking and like the smoke and stuff. Or sometimes I go to put something like warm on when I'm like cooking. It doesn't really happen as much anymore because the ventilation works really good. But like you put something warm on because it's kind of cold, and then you smell like you've been cooking meat all day. Like that will annoy me, especially if I'm going to like work out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like I washed my hands even, and they still kind of smell like meat. It's weird.
If I go anywhere and somebody's like deep frying something, I smell that on my clothes like the entire night. That's all I do. I get home and I cannot wait to get out of them, and I have to shower because I feel like it's in my very little bit of hair. And then this actually really, really sucks. But like if I go to a Mexican restaurant, I almost have to take a shower after because of that. But also, and then Mark, I don't know if you experienced this with your beard that you were growing a second ago, but like I can smell the food all around my face.
Does it make you hungry?
And it makes me sick.
Oh,
It does. It makes me wish I didn't eat.
A lot of restaurants are like they kind of stink a little bit like the food that they have, which is great when you walk in, but it's not so great when you like lay down to watch TV later. You're like, I smell like onions and peppers, bro. Like that's kind of gross. Kind of smell like somebody burped.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And then you like, I like reach for gum. I'm like, I got to get this out of my butt. Like it's just bad. Like I feel like a cloud of burp is just floating around me.
Andrew's got a lot of problems over there.
We're not even scratching the surface.
This is such a new, I'm very curious about what other stuff you have, because that is very interesting. Like you don't eat finger food with your fingers. That's really,
can
wow.
you think about the coffee maker that I have in here? What was the number one rule that I said? There's only one rule. You can use that as much as you want.
Just throw it out after.
But it was just throw the K-cup out, because why? Because it starts to smell weird.
Yeah. Cool.
My bad.
I dig it.
Right.
So real quick, let's just recap. Vacation. I think the biggest things we had were make sure that you fast. That's going to help a lot. Make sure that you take a bunch of walks, because that'll be pretty awesome if you can't get to a gym. Protein leverage, like we talk about almost every episode, right? Exercise if you can, so maybe find some stairs. If you can have a gym, cool. But if you have some stairs or you have a band that you can use, cool. No snacks. Don't take food in your pockets. Stay away from it and plan.
Yeah, and when you do all that, you can still enjoy wherever the hell it is you went to, and you can enjoy the famous foods from this restaurant or that restaurant. Just don't go off the rails too much with that. Also, don't forget to drink water. I think for some reason, people think like just all the normal rules of the human body like change because you traveled, but they really don't. And also, you know what? Don't be a bitch about the. This is really annoys me. Jet lag is bullshit thing that's just in your mind. And same with the time change. I'm trying to get used to the time change. I'm trying to get used to. It's like, oh my God, really? Do we have to? For me, it's 4 a.m. or whatever. It's like, no one fucking cares. Get over it. And all that really is, though, is you just need appropriate sleep is all it really is. And if you get appropriate sleep, then none of that shit matters. So figure out a way to get some sleep and shut up about the time changes and stuff. No one fucking cares. I got jet lag. Oh my God, I hate that.
Yeah, sleep.
Punch somebody in the face.
Just sleep.
Punch somebody in the face.
Oh, man.
Where can people find Andrew?
You guys can hit me up at I am Andrew Z on Instagram, but really if you guys want to party with us online, it's at Mark Bell's Power Project on Instagram, at MB Power Project on Twitter, Facebook.com/Power Project, LinkedIn.com/IN/Power Project. I don't know what, I think at MB Power Project on TikTok. All the links are going to be in the show notes and in the YouTube description and Facebook description and Twitch description. I don't even know. All over the place. You guys can find it. It's really, really easy. Can't hide.
Everywhere.
And Periscope too. Where else? Yeah, that's about it for right now. Nsima, if people want to hit you up, where you at, dude?
Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, and Nsima Yang on TikTok and Twitter.
Dude, what's up with this Chad Wesley Smith thing?
Man, he's been talking trash about Nigerians, dude.
You guys got beef?
Yeah, man. After what you told me that he said about my mom,
that was,
and then my people.
Your mom, I cannot believe. Why would he talk
I
about
don't know
your
why
mom?
he
Your
went
mom
that-
seems like an amazing woman.
I thought he was such a really
She's
nice guy.
inspirational. Yeah.
I thought he was such a nice guy.
But you guys are gonna go at it, some jujitsu?
Oh yeah, we're gonna it's February 8th in Costa Mesa, which is his hometown. And it's this
got
flow
home
grappling
court.
event. Yeah, his home court flow grappling event called Who's Number One. So it is going to be streaming on Flow Grappling, which is crazy.
Sick.
But it's wild.
So who's
that's
got
cool.
who's got more beef? You and Chad or Piedmontese?
Piedmontese has more beef in general.
Okay.
'cause
You know what?
Chad is beefy, but
Yeah, he's very beefy. I'm really excited to see this. I got to figure out a way to I can't go. I think I'm somewhere else.
We can
But
stream it.
I'll have to stream it and watch
Yeah.
it. I'm really excited because I think both you guys are mutants on an equal level. You're a mutant and a freak and a hard worker, and he's a mutant and a freak and a hard worker. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
We should do
much.
a fight companion the way Joe Rogan does.
Yeah, that would be great.
that'd be
That'd
cool.
be sick. Except
You and I should watch it live and be commenting on it.
Yeah, except I don't know how shit about it. So it'll be really good. I'll be the
Yeah.
color commentator.
It's a 7-minute match, so
You have you're working on your crane kick.
yes, I'm working on my butt drag. my crane kick, and
A lot of cheating.
A lot of cheating.
When I was a kid, when I was a kid, I watched a lot of pro wrestling. I remember like the one manager, Mr. Fuji, he used to come out with, he had like salt. He had like a little packet of salt, and then the guy would throw salt in the other guy's eyes. So if things aren't going well, you know, chuck some salt in his eyes.
I'll have some like maybe on my pinky or something, so that when I have to like, I guess, face drag him or whatever, I'll just salt his eyes a little bit that he can't see for a few minutes.
Yeah, maybe that will. I don't know.
Tactics, man.
I don't even know if that'll help though. He's pretty big.
Yeah. Maybe like lube up. Is that what he
943.
It just gets super slippery, so you can't grab me.
Man, you have to tell us how that 943-pound squat feels.
Oh God, yeah. It's honestly though, it's going to be a great match because like I've gone against big guys, but I've never rolled against a guy that like is as strong as Chad. You know what I mean? Even the guy at Worlds, Jason Shirley, he was a big dude. He was a former NFL linebacker, but he wasn't as strong as Chad.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be really cool. And what I'm really happy about, I'm really happy that he's in jiu-jitsu too, just because like there's more strength athletes getting into that sport, you know, and I feel like a lot of strength athletes would really enjoy it. So it's going to be a great showing.
So here's what I suggest you do. If you were to, by some crazy chance, if you were to lose, you take off the gi and you start posing and pretend that pretend that the whole time, it's a bodybuilding show. I actually think you should do that if you win too.
Just strip off the gi and the rash guard.
Start flexing the lats and everything. Anyway, peeps, thanks so much for following along. Please leave us a comment on iTunes and continue to support the show. Keep asking us questions. Keep paying attention to when we're going live and all that good stuff. Shout out to Joe Rogan. He mentioned me and my bro this morning. He's all in on the carnivore diet. That's pretty cool. It's day number 7. Thank you guys so much for following along with the carnivore diet. Posting up every single day at Mark Smellybell on YouTube. I'm at Mark Smellybell on Twitter, at Mark Smellybell on Instagram and on TikTok as well, which I haven't really posted much there. I need to kind of work on my TikTok game, but we'll get there. Anyway, strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch you all later. Bye.